Hey, what's up, you guys? How are you? I'm doing great. I wanted to do a post about Kendrick Lamar. I definitely enjoyed the Super Bowl halftime show. I did not expect to watch it. I didn't watch it real time or even that same day, but there was so much hype about it. I had to go back and watch it because of what people were saying, and I loved it. It gave me my 50th wind. Such a pump and energy. I was so excited, so proud for him. Um, I can't tell you how much I loved it and how much I loved the responses from it. The people that said it was the worst halftime show ever, or I should have turned the TV off, or all of those negative comments definitely told us you exposed yourself as someone who's sleepwalking, as someone who is being programmed by the system. Everything in mainstream media, everything that you were conditioned by your upbringing is showing loud and clear. You're definitely not awake at all, and you probably never will wake up. So, people might say rest in peace to Drake, but I say rest in peace to the people that didn't get it, that it fell on deaf ears, it went over your head. It was you showed yourself. Mainly, I'm in the South, in Chattanooga, Tennessee. For those of you that don't know, I'm about 10 minutes from the Georgia line, and almost everyone here, the majority, it's a red state. So it's Trump, Trump, Trump. And on election day, I worked in the face of the public, and everybody was like, "Did you vote today? Did you vote?" And I said, "No, I didn't. And I'm here till 10 o'clock tonight, so the polls will be closed. Well, see if you can get somebody to cover you for a break. It's not too late." And what they really meant is, did you go vote for Trump? Because we need everyone to vote for Trump. And I would never have voted for Trump, like ever in a million years. So, synonymous with the Trump flag being flown on the Yee trucks around here, the big jacked up trucks, would be a Confederate flag. So if that tells you anything about where I live, that would also tell you about the kind of posts on Facebook and stuff that people that I know were putting, just negative things. They did not see the amazing symbolism in it. They did not get how much courage and how much knowledge this man has. And it's God-given courage, by the way. He was led to do that. And I'm so glad that he did, that he didn't let anything get in his way. I'm not sure if they had any prior approval from the Super Bowl for this, but I would not have been surprised if they would have just cut the power off on him, unless the message was lost on them too, and they just didn't know what they were watching until it was too late. But yeah, there were some people making posts about how he's up next for sacrifice, or that they're going to take him out or something like that. And I honestly believe that he is protected and led by God to do what he did, because he is very much wide awake. And I separate that from being woke. Be woke, there's nothing wrong with that. But when I say awake, woke, I look at being aware of political issues, civil stances on the way that this country is being led, society norms, things that are prejudices, things like that. Awakened, I would look at as a spiritual awakening. And I haven't been a fan of Kendrick. I'm a fan now because he has done the ultimate, which is what I want to do. And I don't mean I want to rap or I want to be in the music industry. I want my platform to go viral so that I can reach and teach as many people as possible with the things that I've been through, with the knowledge that I have from my experiences, which are also God-given. And that is where I get my confidence, and that is who protects me as well. But I want more people to use their platform to wake people up, to educate them, to build them up, to be a cheerleader, to help them recognize their potentials and show them how to reach for it. If they've been through anything harsh to give other people shortcuts so that they don't have to go through as hard a time as the person delivering the message had to, that they can get there quicker if they're willing to listen, if they're willing to be taught and guided. So he did the ultimate. I applaud him, not only for being awake, but using his platform in such a way that is just invaluable. The knowledge was invaluable. And if you were willing to listen and you weren't already woke or awake, either one, that you will go and research things and start to be aware, and that you will wake up, that he could be a catalyst for the beginning of your journey if you're not already on it or you're not already completely there. So big ups to him. Big ups to him. I had paid attention to Humble when it came out because I really like, the idea of being humble and staying humble mostly. But I like SZA a whole lot, so I had paid attention to him on those songs. I was really happy he had her on the show. But I looked up some of his other songs and the lyrics to it, and I encourage you guys to do the same. I already made this message, but it was really long, and I left out a lot of things that I wanted to say and put in a lot of things that were unnecessary, so I'm doing it again with notes. So forgive me for looking down, but his song Reincarnated says, first of all, I believe in reincarnation, so we're already aligned somewhat. He said in that song, concentrated thoughts on who I used to be. I'm shedding skin every day, a new version of me, which is like somewhat a mantra to me, that I'm not the same. Regardless if people think that it's not authentic, I am the most authentic and best version of myself that I ever have been, and I only strive not to be in competition with others, but to be better than who I was yesterday. And I'm constantly evolving from sun up to sundown. So, and then he says later, rehabilitation, not psychosis. And we'll come back to that because at the end of the message, I want to talk about how people commonly, but erroneously, mix up spiritual awakening and mistake it for psychosis because they don't understand, and that is a fact that the reason that they do this is because that's how far away they are from the real reality. That's how far they have to come to really wake up, because it seems that far-fetched to them what someone who is going through or has gone through a spiritual awakening is saying and trying to explain to someone who cannot grasp the concept. They can only grasp what they have learned up to that point in their life, and they have not gone through it yet. I hope to be the catalyst for many people awakening spiritually, but often it is brought on by trauma. So unless you've been through some life-altering event that forced you into the dark night of the soul, into doing your shadow work, into waking up to what is the real reality and breaking away from religion and the conditioning and all the propaganda that you've been fed up until whatever point it was that you broke open, it's going to look different. You're going to look at people like they have three heads. If you are not ready for that, if you want to keep your head stuck in the sand and not come out of the dark, that's what it's going to look like. So the fact that he said rehabilitation, not psychosis, was amazing. I was like, I'm in love with you now. That's all I needed to see. That's all I needed to hear. I didn't even need to watch the Super Bowl. But I looked at the reincarnation or reincarnated lyrics after the Super Bowl. But anyway, the symbolism, the things that were hidden and in your face that he showed and talked about. He told a story about past, present, and future. 40 acres and a mule, reparations. Abraham Lincoln signed that into law, but then later people try to change it and say that it was for slave owners and not for slaves. And then Obama ran on somewhat of not a promise, but he mentioned it in his campaign. And then he said that white resistance and resentment kept him from trying to push that into law during his presidency. It was an all-black cast, symbolism of the American flag, but America being built on the backs of Black Americans, and then he also divided that, showing that America tries to keep them divided, showing the game controller represented us. We're playing the game. You have to go along to get along, basically. You have to play the game. You have to recognize it is a game, and to know that we're always playing the game of the agenda that the powers that be have set into motion. And so if you don't even realize that you're in a game, the people that put the negative posts about the Super Bowl, they don't even realize. Those are the people that are glued to Fox News, like 99% of the time. But I want to go on the division later when I have another video that I wanted to do about Terrence Howard before the Super Bowl happened. And it was very much about division, and especially division between Black people, because that's what the powers that be want to do, because they're actually scared of what would happen if Black people had a united front and we're not hurting each other or fitting the narrative that powers that be put into play about them, because they want them to fit that. So, divide and conquer. They're always trying to divide Black people and keep them where they want them. So I'm going to go on to that more when I start talking about Terrence Howard, because that's a good example. I was going to do a video just on Terrence Howard because I was kind of irritated by some posts or videos that I saw that kept coming up, and I was like, man, I need to say something about that. But it's just a perfect example that fits into what I wanted to say about Kendrick Lamar's show and his all of his symbolism. But I kept hearing, or not hearing, but it kept popping into my head, just the phrase, the revolution will be televised on Friday before the Super Bowl. I kept thinking about that. My thoughts kept being pulled back to that. The revolution will be televised. And I didn't know where that was coming from at all. I thought maybe because I had made videos mentioning Ron Paul, and his campaign slogan was the revolution with the love in the middle. It was, the letters were flipped in the middle to say love in revolution. And I had been thinking about what's that movie, V for Vendetta, things like that, a revolution. I prayed for that, not another civil war, but an upheaval of the current program that we're running on, and the powers that be, and exposing all of those things. So I've been thinking about that, and then that was the first thing one of the first things that he said was the revolution will be televised, and I was like, yes, you go, boy. But then I also saw something that I didn't realize myself, and it was another video that was on like Facebook today, and it was talking about how the guy that was on top of the street lamp, that his shadow onto the stage made the exact replica of the hanged man from the tarot card. And I was like, oh my gosh, it looked perfect. Of course, it was double-sided because he's representing Black culture with what he's actually doing. But then the symbol of his shadow on the floor was of the hangman in tarot. And for you guys that don't know, the hangman represents wisdom, discernment, trials, sacrifice, intuition, and prophecy. And I love tarot. I think it perfectly fits representations of what we go through in life, different energies that we hold, different just scenarios that happen in everybody's life. It's just symbolism of that. And he used that symbolism in his show, and I was like, brilliant. And for all of you that think that it's demonic, it is not. If you can talk to spirit and you have spiritual gifts, and I mean the Holy Spirit, you are getting esoteric knowledge, which is exactly how the Bible was written. Esoteric knowledge. This is God's words. People were saying what God had told them, and they're written accounts of history. So the Bible wouldn't have been written if people could not talk about their connection with Source and how they heard the voice of God. So that's how the Bible was written. So any kind of negative negative connections you have with tarot, throw those out the window, because it is definitely biased narratives of someone that wants you to believe what they believe for their self-serving interests, aka the church, your pastor, a reverend, organized religion. Think outside the box. Think for yourself. Be independent, not conform or be led like sheep. Okay, so everything else. What else? Part it being entertaining as far as dancing and singing was only 10% of the show, so it wasn't meant to entertain. Now, if you had been part of the following the Drake Kendrick battle, then it was entertaining, because yes, the beats, especially the one by Mustard, was amazing. That's a good song. But I think it was only 10% of the show. One, that he had the balls to get up there and call Drake a pedophile. And know that he had already been sued, and this was probably going to bring on more lawsuits, definitely to the NFL, because that's the only recourse that Drake has. He's been buried by this guy, like literally and figuratively. He's not going to come back from that. He's just not. So the only recourse he has is to sue for defamation, and I'm sure he will keep doing that, and no one's going to respect it, but I'm sure he'll still do it. So it wasn't meant to be entertaining. It wasn't meant to get you off your feet, except hyped about that he was actually going to do what he did to Drake in front of millions of people, and that they all sang along and went with it. So that was the entertaining part to me, but the rest of it was just open your mind, wake the fuck up. If you're not with it, you're going to be left behind. You're part of the problem. So in that respect, I was just like, standing ovation for him, and I hope he keeps going with it. I hope other people jump on board. In calling Drake out, he's also calling out someone who is very much part of pushing the agenda. He is, and this is hard for me to say because Drake is the protege of Lil Wayne, who used to be my favorite rapper before I started losing interest in things that I used to listen to and it used to be part of my personality, like, all the time. But I've come to realize that Lil Wayne was part of the problem. His predecessor, Baby, it's all been handed down from generations. So in calling out Drake, you're calling out the powers that be and the people that have sold their soul to be a part of that industry, whatever industry that they are in, to where they push the agenda and the narratives and try to spoon feed America into thinking and doing what they want them to do, depending on what's going on or what they want to happen. So Drake, of course, went at him and he went back, but it represents something larger. These secret societies and these cults. He also mentioned Freemasonry in his show. The people on stage who made the sign of, what was it called? I had to write it down because I don't want to get it wrong. Hailing sign of distress from the Freemasons. So Freemasons were represented. A big part of them siphoning and harvesting energy is feeding off of children, feeding off of high vibrational people, energy harvesting and destiny swapping. Trafficking is definitely part. There was the older couple that I had stayed with for a couple of weeks that were really not trying to help me out. If they were, they would have reached out immediately, but they waited 3 weeks until I was trying to hold my head above water the day that I secured a place with them. They waited till the last minute. My son was taken away the very same day, but they had thrown a gun in my hands and then tried to get me arrested. So they were not trying to help me out at all. But the guy that was there, the male part of this duo, had mentioned that he was offered a spot and nominated to be a Freemason, and there's no way, knowing what I know now about him and his wife, there is no way that he did not accept that nomination and be inducted into the society. But he's the one that taught me about adrenochrome. I had no idea that that was a thing. about siphoning energy and harvesting energy and adrenaline from children, and that is a huge part of why they are pedophiles, and that they use sex and harvesting energy from high vibrational people and children, and from having these sex cults to use that as a front, as a mask that they wear, because it's not their energy. They're low vibrating people running in packs that are trying to destiny swap on people, children, to have riches and wealth for themselves, and status in society, and pull with other people in high positions to get what they want done on the lower levels, on local levels. So I was glad that he called out Freemasons. At the end, when he says turn the TV off, TV is a huge part of programming you. That's why I said the people that didn't like the show probably are tuned in to, CNN and Fox News constantly, because they are letting that program run in their mind. They're letting the game and the propaganda be played on them day in and day out, every single day. That they live and breathe what they're being fed. That's what they want you to do. Turn the freaking TV off. The best thing I ever did was years and years ago, before my spiritual awakening, was stop watching the freaking news. Because that's how they get you. You're brainwashed. If you're watching the news, you're brainwashed. If you're watching anything mainstream on a regular basis, you are brainwashed. You are the sleepwalkers that I am talking about. If you are in Make America Great Again, you are sleepwalkers. That is one of the things that couple, which were libertarian when I became friends with them, then turned into Trumpers and wanted me to be a Trumper. That is one of the first questions that they'll ask you, because they're extremely racist. They will ask you, were you part of Black Lives Matter? And that's a trick question, because they really want to know, do you like black people? And I knew what they were getting at, and so I said no, because I wanted them to go on. A lot of things with discernment, you can ask questions and answer questions based on you knowing the answer already, but you just want to hear what they're going to say. And that's why I told them no, but it's still all over my social media. My posts are still up. I never took them down. I would still support Black Lives Matter today, but any big movement always gets hijacked. There's always infiltrators once it gains a certain amount of notoriety, a certain amount of followers, a certain amount of momentum. That happens with every big movement. It never fails. So Black Lives Matter is not the same today as when it first started. That's just the truth, the ugly truth of it. That's what happened to the Black Panthers. That's what the FBI and the CIA do. They will put people there. They will plant them there. Even celebrities, there's plants. They will condition a person. They will get them to do what they want to do, to go in and make you think that they're one of you, just to find out what you're doing and what your next move's going to be. So, yeah, I supported Black Lives Matter, but that is one of the things that the Make America Great Again people will ask you to just test your temperature, to see if you're racist, to see how far away from their beliefs you are. That's one of the things they'll use to identify you. So be aware of that question. Uncle Sam, being black for one was great. Shout out to Samuel L. Jackson. He is a Chattanoogan. Me and him saw our same first concert in life at the same venue here in Chattanooga Memorial Auditorium. Not the same time or the same artist, but yeah, Chattanoogan. Shout out to him for that. But he was the housemaster in Django, and also playing Uncle Sam, and the warnings, the caveats that he was given in between each song about how America wants them stay calm, don't be the loud, disruptive, aggressive black people that they try to make us out to be, so that we don't get kicked out of here. You have to conform to what they want you to be in society to stay where they want you to be. Oh, that was amazing. That the stage was a prison yard. It was so good. It was so good, you guys. So good. Like, I just could not have, because I thought he was on with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre when they did their halftime show, and he did a very little blip, and I was like, what is he gonna do? You know, he doesn't have this, he's got a catalog of music, he's been out for a long time, but I didn't think he had that many hits, so what kind of show is he gonna be able to put on? It was amazing. The symbolism was amazing. That's all he had to do. He was telling a story, and it was wonderful, wonderful, very in your face. Listen to his lyrics of his other songs, go and read them, educate yourself. It reminded me of back when I got turned on to certain artists by watching Dave Chappelle's Block Party. If you haven't seen that, go get on that. That's very old, but Dave Chappelle would not conform, and so he is a big fan of Black independent artists that do not mind telling the truth. And that's when I became a fan of Mos Def. I think Mos Def is gorgeous, but I had not really listened to his music. So Mos Def, Talib Kweli, Dead Prez. Go look up Dave Chappelle's Block Party and get on some of those artists. Okay, so now I want to talk about division, the way that they divide and conquer. And they do this with all Americans, but they try to do it with Black people, I think, the most. So they'll divide America with Democrat, Republican, things like that. But they do not want to see a united front about Black people. These people have been treated badly their whole lives, and generations and generations and generations before that. They want to hold them down. They do not want them to come together in an educated, calm, peaceful warrior kind of way. They want to combat them by creating this narrative and having them stay in that box so that they're never seen as credible. They never gain any traction or momentum in any kind of movement or in a way that might subsede the white precedent, the white status, and they're scared. It's fear-based. If it wasn't, then they wouldn't care. They wouldn't combat it so badly. They wouldn't try to keep them where they want them and keep these narratives going for years and years and years. So oppression has to be the name of the game. Now, I have been oppressed. In no way will I ever say that it holds any kind of candle to Black oppression. I just simply know the game because it's been played on me in the last couple of years especially, and I'm still fighting my way out of it, but I'm not being quiet. And that's what I would advise all of you that are listening, Black, white, whatever race that you are, do not be quiet. Know that if God has given you the education, the courage, and the confidence to speak up, stand in your power and speak your truth. Be authentic. Record things. Don't just get up and shout out your experiences all the time. Record whatever. This is how people go to jail. You have to record it. You have to document it. You have to prove what you are saying, because there will always be people that will come up, even if they weren't there, to say that what you're saying is a lie, or they will pay people to do it. So don't be divided. Document everything. They want to keep, people saying that Black people are ghetto and they're killing each other, gang wars, that they're the majority of the prison population. They want to keep you there. That's where they want you. That's where they want to keep you oppressed. I think the example that I was going to give about Terrence Howard is that I'm not affiliated with this scientific community at all. I am very much right-brained. I like art. I like literature. I like reading. I like writing. I am all about that life. So I have no idea. I never wanted to learn about science or math except for my recent interest in energy. I do care about that, and I've learned a lot about that. But when it comes to what he's talking about, I don't know anything about it. I can't call out whether, refute it or praise it. I don't know. So I'm not claiming to, but I do know that this many people wouldn't be attacking Terrence Howard if he weren't on to something. They come at him too violently, and if you have discernment and you've sharpened that skill, you will know that the energy tells everything, and I can see through it crystal clear. I don't have to know anything about science to know that they're trying to knock this dude down for a reason. They don't want you to listen to him. So even if The only thing I do know about him is that I wrote it down, he has 94 patents. They try to say he says he has all these patents and he was on Joe Rogan and he didn't let Joe Rogan talk. He let Joe Rogan talk plenty, and Joe Rogan even pulled up the patents on a projector screen for everybody to see while he was there. He's not lying about it. They're saying he says he has a PhD and he doesn't. He does have a PhD. It's not in physics, even though he was only like 3 credits shy of having a bachelor's. He has an honorary PhD from some college in South Carolina. But I could not find any clip in all of my research where he said he had a PhD in physics. So they're trying to throw that at him and mudsling that he says he has all of these patents. He does. He does have all of these patents. In fact, 94, 41 different families, 79 are active. And if he hadn't abandoned his World of Windows patent back in the day, he would be worth $7 trillion. Now, that's not an idiot. That's not an idiot. And he is cited in major corporations for using his patents for their technology that they sell and make millions and billions of dollars off of. Microsoft, what was it? I can't remember the other two. There's 2 other major, Omnivision maybe? It's virtual reality stuff. Anyway, this is not an idiot. This is not somebody that's pulling stuff out of their ass. The things that he's talking about, I watched Shavi Zane, and she talked about when he was on Joe Rogan that people needed to pray for him for protection. And like I said, if God gives you the courage, he gives you the voice to come up and stand out about things, he's going to protect you. He's going to protect you. He's protecting me, so he's going to protect you. If he gives you that calling, if he places that on in your life, you are anointed. You are doing God's work. So the knowledge that he is talking about, which Shavi Zane said she was worried that these people that he was talking to were going to take advantage of him and use this to ridicule him because he was talking about receiving downloads. Downloads are esoteric knowledge, esoteric, likely to be understood by a small number of people with specialized knowledge or interest, mysterious, secret quality. This is the God conscious. This is something that you acquire during dreams. You acquire it during meditation. It's sent to you via a prayer. God answers your prayers. He's going to give you the information that you ask him for. This is not always going to be understood. And understand that when I was talking about secret societies being plugged into every major educational outlet and college that's out there, these scientists that are refuting this may have been, just consider the fact that a lot of us that have gone to a public education major university are all plugged in to the same agenda that they're pushing. They're teaching you what they want you to know. They're forming your mind in the way that they want you to think. So consider that maybe, just maybe, even if they are saying this is what I was taught and this is fact, that they might have not been taught the truth. They lie to us all the time. All of the time. The propaganda is huge. The indoctrination that's in public education and universities and all educational outlets, the textbooks. This is why people homeschool, not just for religious reasons. Me and my ex thought about homeschooling because of the indoctrination. They teach you lies all the time, and these things are being proven left and right by independent researchers that have looked at the things that they were taught in school and know that they don't make sense, and they're going out of their way to prove them wrong, and it continues to happen every day. So consider that maybe, just maybe, Terrence knows the truth and these other people don't. There's lots of people out there that support him, but there's this one guy, and this is why I wanted to mention Terrence. This is Professor Dave Speaks. He is not a professor at all, even though he's saying that Terrence is lying, and he's built almost his entire channel around being hateful and mocking Terrence and discrediting him in the most aggressive, childish, hateful way. And now, if you talk about him in a sense of being a content creator, now, if it makes money, it makes sense, and any kind of engagement is going to get you money. So in that respect, I can say, okay, I see what he's doing, but he's just spewing hatred, and the discernment tells you that this guy does not have good energy. He's very low vibrations, and why would he be going so hard against him. He puts himself out there as being this huge supporter of the Black community, and now his head is all the way gassed up because he thinks that he has their complete support and that they've all come out of the woodwork thanking him because they are so embarrassed of Terrence and how they've long ago revoked his Black card. And he has them divided in doing exactly what the programming wants to do to the Black community, to get them divided. Now, most of these people don't know whether Terrence is telling the truth or not. And like I said, I don't either. All I know is that something stinks and that he wouldn't almost, possibly have been worth $7 trillion and have all of these patents if he didn't know anything about anything. And then he's just talking out of his head. Like, he is smart. He is a very smart guy. I wouldn't go as far to call him a genius because I am not educated in those things. And like I said, even the people that are educated in those things do not know for sure that they were taught the right thing in the first place. But for this guy who's not even a professor to go on the internet and just be so maliciously hateful toward Terrence and other people that claim to have esoteric knowledge, he's misrepresenting himself. He's not even a professor. He taught high school science at like a Hollywood private high school or something like that. It's just so annoying. But I don't want to let him get to me in a way that I would go on there and comment. This would be the old me. The old me would go on there and be combative back and comment to him, blah, blah, blah. And I've read things from people that said that he's such a man-child that as soon as he gets cornered, he goes to trying to bully and recruit fake profiles. You can create a fake profile on any platform. I've had it done to me several times on my channel, so I'm so used to it by now. But just because someone gets on there, creates a profile, and then comments saying that they are educated in this and this and this, and that they are a Black man or a Black woman, and that Terrence doesn't know shit, that doesn't mean that the comment was from a Black person at all. It doesn't mean they were educated at all. It's not fact-checking anything. It's just him, probably, or his cronies and flying monkeys coming on there saying that they know something more than the average citizen, and that thank you, Professor Dave, for blowing his theories out of the water. And then people read that and they're like, oh yeah, I thought he was crazy. That's what they want you to do. Do not fall for that shit. It's so frustrating to see that happen so easily, because it has happened to me within the oppression that I've gone through, within people, throwing me out, making me homeless. The Republicans around here believe that homeless people should be put on a bus and taken out of the city so that it be someone else's problem. They don't want to help people. They don't want to help humanity. They just want their white community to be rich and become richer and to have more and more control. They don't want to look at the ugly. They don't want to help the charity cases. They don't want to do anything to help anybody except themselves. That's how closed-minded they are around here, and that's how easy it is around other closed-minded people that don't want to think independently to be divided about a person or a thing that they know nothing about. They are so easily swayed, and that's what I cannot stand. I want people to wake up. I want to use this platform. I want other people to use their platforms to wake people up and have them think for themselves and actually do their own research and question everything, so that they don't follow the agenda and the programming and jump ship from something that was probably not ever bad and probably had more education and knowledge and facts behind it than the mouthpiece that they're listening to ever thought about having. That's what I want. I want free thinkers. I want people to wake up. I want to help them get there faster so that we can love each other and help each other and raise the vibrations of this planet like we were supposed to do, not to be slaves to the system and the programming and work ourselves to death, just making the rich people richer and them just laughing to themselves about you every single day because you fell for it. Right? Let's be smarter than that. Let's be smarter than them. If we don't let them divide us, if we don't let them dumb us down even more by, falling for the okie doke, we could achieve more than the 1% ever could, because they're scared to death of people waking up. me talking about cults and stuff, it makes me think of the probably the biggest cult leader known to us is Charles Manson, and he had people committing murders for him, had them so brainwashed, committing murders for him, depending on what he said and what he told them to do, that he didn't have to lift a finger, and they ruined their whole lives over what this man told them to do. And his theory that he ran off of was helter skelter, the race war, the blacks changing places with the whites. That is what, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, that Make America Great Again is scared to death of. That the racists in America are scared of helter skelter more than anything ever in their whole life. They're afraid of things that they've done or their parents have done or older generations have done, and the conditioning that's been passed on to them, that it will be reciprocated and that they will have to be in the place that Black people or any oppressed person has been in, because they wouldn't be able to handle it. They wouldn't be able to make it. They wouldn't be strong enough to do it, and they don't want to even try to be strong enough or even think about having to be strong enough to make it through something like that. And the fact is, if the people that have been oppressed were in their position, they wouldn't do that to them. So it's something that could happen to them. It's very real because that's how karma works. That's how I know that God is on my side and that He would be on anyone's side that was anointed, that answered the call and did righteous work for Him on this earth, that He would take care of them. Because often what people that are in low vibrations that think they are God and try to play God do, what they want to happen to you is actually what's going to happen to them. They don't know that they are doing it to themselves, that all of the hard work and energy that they tried into bringing you down is actually what they are going to do to themselves, and they're going to be the cause of their own demise. That's how things work. There's universal laws, people, and that's how it works. They actually don't get their way. Now you have to wait on God's timing because everything has to line up right. He has the last say. So vengeance is not yours, but that's often what happens 99% of the time, is the plan, the whole maniacal plan that they had against you when they were the oppressor is actually the fate that they walk right into themselves. So yeah, let's see the last thing that I was going to say, is spiritual awakening. I'm going to do other videos on this, but being spiritually awake, having the alignment. It's actually been a neurobiological study of this and the different parts of the brain that is activated once someone goes through a spiritual awakening. But it's a profound experience that significantly shifts perception of reality and understanding of life's meaning, a deeper connection with themselves and others and the universe, source, which I call God. Breaking away from religion, other conditioning, heightened awareness and desire for transformation, changing yourself, not to hurt people because you were hurt, but to be the example. That's like when people want to create the smear campaigns and they want to keep Black people oppressed. They want to trigger them. They want to do things to them that would cause them to act out so that they could stand back and play the victim and say, look how they're acting, without any accountability for what they did to bring about that reaction. That's what they want you to do. Playing their game is to give them the response and the reaction that they tried to get from you so that you fit the narrative that they've created about you for society to judge you by. So my advice is to look into a spiritual awakening, so that you can have deep reflection. You can do your shadow work and work hard on yourself so that you can heal your past wounds and your traumas, so that you become emotionally mature and you have that temperance about you so that you don't react the way that they want you to react. You can actually reflect on it, control your breathing, control your anger, and you can actually make progress in a way that's going to make a difference. Being calm, forgive, but don't forget, keep your guard up. But not everyone is the same as the ones that caused your trauma. Not all white people are racist. I know I'm not. I was raised in an extremely racist family. The N-word was being said nonstop up until the last conversations with my uncle before he locked me out of his house unlawfully to make me homeless, or to make false allegations towards me to government agencies. Was him saying the N-word and me telling him that he couldn't say it. Well, they say it to each other. Or saying that back when I was younger, to not ever bring a black person or a person of color home in a relationship, or to say that people in our community, if they went and cut down a tree that was blocking the road, that it was only, they were only doing that because they were trying to block, weren't trying to block their drug business or whatever. When we had chainsaws, he never went out on the road and cut anything down or helped the community in any way. What was his excuse? Trying to explain to him why he can't use the N-word over and over, trying to educate these people that do not want to be educated. They're just stuck in their ways, and they think white supremacy is what everybody should believe. So closed-minded, so full of hate, so low vibrational, that we don't want to internalize that. We want to be the change. I know it's hard. It's so hard. I look at these conversations online where people are, cultural appropriations are keeping them divided, that you can't wear a certain hairstyle if you're a white person. Now, I've had cornrows in my hair. My black neighbor asked me in the early 2000s if she could put them in my hair, and I was like, sure. Yeah, this wasn't a thing back then. Nobody was being aggressive about cultural appropriations, and I didn't think anything about it. I was like, sure, go ahead. And I had highlights in my hair at the time, so it looked beautiful. It hurt really bad. And I was a preacher's wife at the time, or a preacher's son's wife at the time, and we went out to eat with my father-in-law and his wife, and he wanted to make fun of me and ridicule me the whole time because he was extremely racist. So I had to go through that, but I thought they were beautiful. Now, I wouldn't do it now because I don't want to be attacked, but I can understand both sides. I can understand where both sides are coming from. I don't want things like that to keep us divided, because we can make such a bigger impact when we don't let things like that get in the way. There's so many bigger issues that we could stand in solidarity on and make such a bigger change in the way that we live life, to love each other and to not let things like that bring upon hate. Hate is the lowest vibration. Love is the highest vibration. And I love you all. Like, honestly, I love you all. We all come from the same source. Beneath the skin, we are all the same. We are souls having a human experience. And I do not want us to waste our precious time in this earth school and this life that we incarnated to be in, to learn these lessons, to spend time hating and killing and just bringing on more support for the oppressors and letting that perpetuate. I do not want that for anybody. It just holds us back longer. I want us to actually make progress to gain ground here. And I think they siphon your energy when they make you mad, when they bring out that reaction that they want to keep you frustrated. It lowers your vibration, so you are open and susceptible to more attacks that keep you in that low vibration. So that's why I think our Black community is so strong, because they've had to be. And I draw strength from them because it is so admirable. I hate that what they had to go through is what made them that way, but going through oppression myself, knowing why the caged bird sings, knowing how I got to be so strong myself, not from racism, but from other things happening to me. It was done on purpose. God doesn't make any mistakes. You are right where He wants you to be. So if He put you in that, He is going to see you through it. He's not going to leave you halfway through the battle. He's going to prepare you. And we've all been prepared to act in a way that would bring about a new kingdom on earth for God, if you believe in that. And I know that Source, whatever you want to call Him, I call Him God, that He has brought us through all of these things for a reason. And if you get angry, if you get upset, and you don't use that as motivation and you use it in a way to react and fit their narrative, it's only going to keep us in that cycle. We want to learn those karmic lessons. We want to break the cycle. We don't want to carry the pain of our ancestors. We want to recognize it. We want to honor it, that they went through that for us so that we wouldn't have to, or that slaves went through that for Black people so that they wouldn't have to go through that, even though they are still being oppressed madly. It's sickening. It's sickening. I hate that, but I do draw strength from them. I don't siphon energy because I don't participate in it. I wouldn't do anything that made them mad or hurt them, but I am so admirable of their strength, and it helped me to come out of oppression and fight oppression by looking at the example that has been set. So carrying the pain of our ancestors isn't going to help break any generational curses or heal our bloodlines. We want to do that. That's what we are here to do. We are here to heal it. We are here to change it. We are here to be the change. We are here to break those curses, so that the future generations don't have to go through what your ancestors have gone through or what you've gone through, that they can experience life on earth in a much more healthy way, so that they can make the progress they were actually put here to do by God, to love. That's what we're here to do. We're here to love. So I'm going to do more videos on the spiritual awakening, because people that haven't gone through it look at it as psychosis and wrongly accuse people of being mentally ill when they are in fact just waking up to reality, and the people that are judging them are still asleep and will probably never wake up, much like the people that said negative things about the Super Bowl. I love you. God loves you. You're never alone. I'll see you later. Bye.